some cards from today's episode? Well, you can pick them up and support the show from our sponsor, Card Kingdom. Just follow the link in the description box down below. Hello, everyone. It's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another Instant Deck Tech. So as you know, Thursday means it's Fishbowl Thursday here in Instant Deck Tech land, and we have a spicy one to look at today. This is a Sliver deck, but not your typical Sliver deck. This is Sliver Storm, a really interesting, weird Sliver infinite combo deck. And this one comes to us from Josh. Just Josh, no more than that. So thank you to Josh for sending in a really unique deck. And if you'd like your own deck considered for a future Fishbowl Thursday, make sure to leave me a link in the comments, or you can email me at saffronolive@mtggoldfish.com. So let's talk some Sliver Storm. So I should say, this is a Sliver deck. Slivers give everything else abilities. We can just play a bunch of janky Slivers and kill our opponent, but really, the main plan of this deck is to assemble a kind of janky, like, million card infinite combo. So since we need a lot of different pieces to actually make our infinite combo work, we got a bunch of ways to find our pieces. Collecting Company snags 2 Slivers for 4 mana, instant speed, pretty good deal. Court of Calling finds a specific Sliver, whatever combo piece we happen to be missing. So even though we do need a lot of combo pieces to go infinite, we have a lot of ways to find them. We also have one homing Sliver, which just lets us Sliver cycle, essentially, which means pay 3, discard a Sliver. We can find any Sliver of our choosing. So another way we can set up our combo, we can like find homing Sliver with Court of Calling, Collecting Company, discard the Slivers we don't need to find the ones we do need, combo off. So this is kind of the core of the deck that holds it together. Now we gotta talk about the combo, and I will warn you, it's pretty janky and it takes a lot of pieces, but when it comes together, it sounds hilarious. So step 1 to the combo is we need to give all of our Slivers haste. That is important to our combo working. So for this, we have Firewake Sliver, gives everything haste. We can also sacrifice a creature to give a Sliver +2/+2 until end of turn. So I guess backup beatdown plan, we just sack our board, go all in on one big beatdown Sliver. Cloud Shatter Sliver, new addition for Modern Horizons, all Slivers, haste and flying. So if we get a haste Sliver on the battlefield, that's step 1. To go along with a haste Sliver, we need Basil Sliver. This is our main mana engine, a Sliver that lets us sack any Sliver to add 2 black mana. So that gives us the ability to produce a lot of mana by sacrificing our Slivers, but that's not enough on its own. We also need Pulmonic Sliver. Pulmonic Sliver, combo piece number 3, makes it so all of our Slivers have flying, but that's not why we're playing it. Not to give our Slivers flying. The big deal is when a creature that's a Sliver would die, we can put it on top of our library instead of into our graveyard. So far, all of our Slivers have haste. All of our Slivers have the ability to sacrifice themselves for 2 black mana. All of our Slivers have an ability where if they would die, we can put them back on top of our library instead of putting them into our graveyard. Then we have Dormant Sliver. This is step number 4 to the combo. Dormant Sliver makes it so all Slivers have Defender. So the beatdown plan off the table for the time being. Although we can always sack Dormant Sliver to Basil Sliver ability if we do need to go beatdowns. But whenever a Sliver comes into play, we get to draw a card. So let's reset where we're at for a moment. All of our Slivers have haste. We can sack them for 2 black mana. If they die, instead of going to our graveyard, we can put them on top of our deck. And when they come into play, we're able to draw a card. So let's say we have this whole setup. The last piece of the puzzle is a Gemhide Sliver or Mana Web Sliver. Something that lets us tap our Slivers for mana. So then, let's assume we have all this. Our Slivers can do all those things. Hasty, sack for mana, tap for mana, top of our library when they die, enter the battlefield to draw us a card. The last piece of the puzzle is just any cheap Sliver. Gale Rider Sliver, Virulent Sliver, Diffusion Sliver, more Mana Web Slivers, any Sliver that costs 1 or 2 mana. Then we finally get to go infinite. So here's the idea. We have that set up. Let's say we have Gale Rider Sliver. We cast Gale Rider Sliver. That's going to put the Dormant Sliver trigger on the stack to draw us a card. With that trigger still on the stack, we tap Gale Rider Sliver for a blue mana using Mana Web Sliver's ability. Then we sack it for 2 black mana using Basil Sliver's ability. Then we put it back on top of our deck using Pulmonic Sliver's ability. And then, and only then, do we let the card draw trigger resolve. So that means we're going to draw Gale Rider Sliver again. Then using the 1 blue mana we made by tapping Gale Rider Sliver, we cast it again, trigger on the stack, tap it for mana, sack it for mana, top of our deck from Pulmonic Sliver, trigger to draw a card, resolves, Gale Rider Sliver again. So as you can see, every time we go through that loop, we're essentially netting 2 black mana. We're spending 1 to cast Gale Rider Sliver, tapping it for 1 to get the mana back to cast it, sacking it for double black. Same with Virulent Sliver, except we tap it for green mana instead of black so we can recast it. Diffusion Sliver does the same thing while also protecting our slivers, except we're only netting 1 black mana because it costs 2 to cast. We use 1 blue and 1 of the black to cast it. Do it again, 1 extra mana each time. So this, in a really janky, slivery, weird way, gives us infinite mana. We make infinite mana, we do this a ton of times, and then, eventually, the plan is to use Banefire to kill our opponent. Just Banefire 1,000,000 damage directly at our opponent's face. Because we have the Dormant Sliver, we can eventually just, like, cast slivers and draw through our entire deck by casting slivers. We're going to have 1,000,000 Dormant Slivers, cast it, draw 1,000,000 cards, draw through our entire deck when we have 1,000,000 mana floating, and then Banefire, tapping one of our slivers for red mana to hit our opponent's face for some arbitrarily large amount of damage to close out the game. So, that's the plan of the deck. It is janky, it requires a lot of pieces, but remember, we're a slivers deck. If we don't find the combo pieces, we can't just give all of our slivers flying, give them haste, cast them, attack our opponent in the air, and hopefully kill them that way. So we do have a backup plan that is fairly legitimate when we don't draw our 1,000,000-piece Infinite Sliver Storm combo. Otherwise, Necrotic Sliver, Telekinetic Sliver, give us some removal slivers. Necrotic Sliver, kind of sweet if we get things going. We can blow up any permanent, so we can be doing our tricky, like tapping all of our slivers for a bunch of mana, maybe blow up all of our opponent's lands. Telekinetic Sliver buys a lot of time. If we had a bunch of slivers, we just tap down all of our opponent's lands on their upkeep or their creatures that are about to attack, so our opponent can't kill us easily, eventually fight our combo and win. Mana base wise, Cavern of Souls and Sliver Hive, really good in our 5-color deck. Sliver Hive can also make slivers, some fetch lands, a bunch of different shock lands, some forests. In the sideboard, Leyline of the Void to fight against Hogak and other graveyard decks, Harmonic Sliver to blow up artifacts and enchantments, Dismember for removal, Pithing Needle, also kind of a removal spell, more Diffusion Slivers to fizzle our opponent's removal, Spell Pierce, another way of protecting our slivers, and that is the ridiculousness of Sliver Storm. And that's our Fishbowl Thursday instant deck tech for this week. So, oh my goodness, what a crazy one. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much to Josh for sending in just a ridiculous deck. I had never even considered the old 5-piece Infinite Sliver Banefire combo, but here we are, and it is a sweet one. So thank you to Josh for sending it in. And one more time, if you want your own deck considered for a future Fishbowl Thursday, make sure to leave me that link in the comments or email me, SephirothOlive@MTGGoldfish.com. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.